you have your own thing to do on content, but we also are working with other teams and putting KPI in front of them. So it kind of like forces people to work together and to have a common goal.
One thing I do want to talk about is team structure and how your teams are built right now. So Camille, why don't you kick us off? How are you building your team out at Dooley right now for content?
Yeah, sure. So for context, like I started just a few months ago. So pretty new content team, but right now it's me, and then it's Sam, who was actually, I think, the second marketer hire at Dooley. And so she's been like showrunner, producer, like very, very creative, does a lot of like video editing, event coordination. So Sam, and then recently brought on Kyle. So he's our lifecycle marketing manager. It has like a superpower of copywriting. Like I think it's just like straight up, he's a better copywriter than I am. And so love having him on the team. And then he works on conversion rate optimization too, right? So that just like customer journey on the site and just like across the board. So Kyle, and then we also now have like a front end developer, which is kind of more of like a shared, I hate saying like resource, like a person, but Mateus is our front end developers like across the marketing team. So I work closely with him as well.
What about you, Erin?
Over the past 3+ years, I have grown the content team from me to 8. We function semi as an internal agency in a lot of ways, only because we're not strictly focused on getting attention and getting those to closed won. We're also focused on creating copy for the software, making sure that we're injecting the brand into the software, carrying all the language over from the marketing site into the software. We're also focused on partner enablement and activation. So once we sign on our new partners, we are going to help create the materials and make sure that it's on brand as well. We're building out all of our partner onboarding and our client onboarding right within Learn. So we're really busy with all of that as well, which is why we don't just have a typical traditional content team. So underneath me, there are 3 verticals. So there's editorial. So there's a lead writer who manages 2 other writers. There's graphic design, and then there's media production. And there's a lead media producer who manages the functions of video and digital learning. So that's building any sort of interactive experiences. And we really try to think about our campaigns holistically because we have all this great resource right in-house. So, all right, we want to build a splash page. How can we not just get that out into the world and get people into Learn, but how can we actually move them through Learn so that they want to eventually request a demo, which is the ultimate for us, because our organic hand raisers close at 35%. So it's a lot better than our low intent leads, which close at 3%. So the more we can get people to raise their hand, the better.
That's amazing. Now, Devin, I am not looking for any jobs at Gong, but I do pay attention to what you guys are posting because I'm trying to think of, what are they thinking about role-wise that I'm not already thinking of? And you've got some pretty interesting roles over there. So walk us through your structure of the team right now.
Sure. So shout out to all team of ones out there. If you've been a team of one, that's what I was for a while. We hired a content marketer about 2 years ago to just do more. It was like, Devin's one guy, he can only host so many webinars, only write so much in a day. Like, let's just try to, double our firepower, which we definitely did with Jonathan. And basically the way I've structured is like, we have some programs that I've either built myself or adopted and scaled myself. So other than that first hire, which was just like a little bit like, let's do a little bit more of everything, it was like, where do we need someone to scale next? So then we hired someone specifically for webinars and digital events. So she's on the content team, but helps with that. Next person was specifically focused on certain segments. So, commercial through enterprise, focusing on upmarket. And so at first it was kind of like, a bit of an agency approach. I work on the demand gen team, so we were very acquisition focused, even though we influence other parts of the content lifecycle. But it was like, we just had our own KPIs and goals. Now that we're at 4 people, so it's myself, a senior growth marketing manager, senior content marketing manager, content intern, and a content ops. So we have someone who splits their time between ops and content. As we now have each person aligns with an adjacent marketing team on our demand gen team. So Jonathan works with digital advertising. Nehal works with our events team. Jordan works with ABM. and so on. And so we have this really good breakdown of goals where like, hey, you have your own thing to do on content, but we also are working with other teams and putting KPI in front of them. So it kind of like forces people to work together and to have a common goal.
So I was trying to stay on with how many people you mentioned. How big is your content team right now, Devin?
1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4.5 because technically content ops reports to ops, but we have like, he's on my team. We have one-on-one. So like technically he's not my head count. And then next, just because you said we're talking about is hiring a managing editor. So someone who can help with our editorial process, do a lot of editing across not just my team, but like I said, product marketing, scaling, ABM is scaling. And there's just so much content that we put out that we're looking for someone to help on the editing and content creation front there.